settlements don't have to be a negative factor to be wrong. However, they are a negative factor. They take land, they take water, they disrupt our movement and access, because when I say we don't have movement and access, between me and Nablus are settlements that Israel protects, and that's what they disrupt my movement with in order to deal with those settlements. To the point, at one point, there were 600 internal checkpoints inside the West Bank. Inside the West Bank. Not between us and Israel. Inside the West Bank. Israel set up these checkpoints to disrupt our movement internally. They take our water. Water has a different value than in the American mindset, unless you're in Michigan. It has the same value there. We have a significant lack of water to be able to maintain the bare minimum of what WHO standards are in the world, let alone industry that requires water, like agriculture. I mean, agriculture at the beginning of Oslo was 12% of our GDP. Fast forward 20 years later, it is 2% today. Why? Because land and water has been disrupted. So those settlements are a strategic disruption to stripping us from our natural resources and our movement access. But again, even if they weren't, it doesn't make them any more legal. They're not legal. They're illegal under international law. The second part is the solution part of this. I think we're very far from a solution, and it's more of an academic discussion today. I, with an Israeli friend of mine, have a vision of a future that we actually put in the New York Times in an op-ed, which is a vision of confederation. Two independent states in a contractual agreement, kind of like marriage, right? And if the marriage doesn't work out, they divorce. They don't kill each other. They go back to their states. You can read that. I don't spend much time on the solution part because there is no process today. There's no table. There's no negotiating table. The Israeli side is not accepting Palestinian statehood as a notion, let alone as politically recognizing it as a state. So I'm not interested in having a conversation with myself. Yeah. Today the conversation is stop the human rights violations, apply international law, and stop the damage on the ground like settlements before it gets to the point where there's more settlers in the West Bank than there are Palestinians. That changes the equation totally. Having said all of that, I've lived here long enough to know that those settlements are a political decision.
Oh yeah.
Ariel Sharon, a war criminal, a very hawkish Israeli prime minister, I remember when he said that the Israeli settlement in Gaza of Netzarim is more important to Israel than Tel Aviv, in security-wise. 2 months later, he dismantled Netzarim because there was a political decision to re-engage in Gaza, to redeploy in Gaza. So just like they dismantled settlements in Gaza, they dismantled settlements in the Sinai, they extracted themselves from southern Lebanon, they can do the same here if there's a political decision to do so.